How's it going, everyone? It is Skullzi here with the latest and the greatest gaming news. There has been a lot of discussion and drama within the community recently over whether or not Bethesda Game Studios are doing the right thing when it comes to staying basically completely silent about Starfield, despite their current standing amongst the community. The last couple of videos here on my channel involved basically breaking down a few key components and theories involving this situation, and despite those videos and some obvious trends from Bethesda, there are people out there who think all of this recent criticism is somehow not justified. I figured I'd revisit the situation one more time in today's video and explain why I think it actually is justified, and all of this, by the way, is coming not from the perspective of an impatient fan, but instead from a slightly more professional point of view. And no, don't worry, my channel isn't turning into some sort of Bethesda negativity Illuminati party. All of these discussions have been ongoing since Gamescom August 28th and are still a currently trending topic, and regardless of all that, this video will basically be my last video covering this specific silence situation unless something else happens or there is another interesting theory that I can break down. And in today's video, I'm not going to discuss why I think Bethesda has been so silent regarding Starfield, but instead talk about why they should have talked about this game much more by now, and why I feel like this isn't a matter of being impatient or a matter of entitled fans not getting what they want, but instead it's a matter of a company completely not reading the room and adapting properly, like several other gaming companies have done in the past. First off, it is indeed the normal Bethesda Game Studios routine to wait until as last minute as possible before they fully started to market their next game. They did this with literally every single game they've basically ever made. However, their standing with the community during the pre-release timelines of all of their previous games is completely night and day to their current standing within the gaming community. Standing firm to their old ways of remaining silent is not the best course of action here, as the temperature of the water has definitely changed, so to speak. This is even further supported by the fact that literally Bethesda Game Studios' entire pre-Fallout 76 fanbase was built entirely with single-player RPGs. So while waiting for the next single-player Bethesda Game Studios RPG, the community was instead surprised with their first online-only game, literally ever, meaning it would take even longer before they would get their long-awaited single-player game. And this directly followed the Bethesda Save Player 1 campaign, which was supposed to communicate that Bethesda will be focusing on single-player games and not focusing on multiplayer because it's easier to monetize like several other gaming companies are doing right now. But instead, after that Save Player 1 campaign, they pretty much right away announced Fallout 76, so the timing of all of that was way off on that one. And this is also obviously not a matter of whether or not the marketing campaign of Starfield hasn't started yet. Duh, we know the marketing campaign hasn't started. That's not why everyone is wondering why we haven't heard anything yet. That's like basic stuff. This is all an obvious matter about why the marketing campaign for Starfield should have started by now, even if it was just on a low-key small level. And on top of all this, their next single-player RPG was not The Elder Scrolls 6, but instead an entirely new IP that the fan base literally doesn't know anything about. It's Bethesda's first new franchise in like over 20 years, and after 2 Fallout games in a row, one of which was online only, we are getting a complete wildcard, another anomaly after an anomaly. And with all of this combined, it should be very easy to see why the Bethesda Game Studios community is more than confused, worried, and basically completely in the dark about a whole lot of different things right now. This combined with an already tarnished reputation from numerous recent PR blunders and mistakes, from the great canvas bag shortage to numerous Fallout 76 security issues, it's pretty obvious that perhaps Bethesda Game Studios shouldn't stick to their old ways of doing things right now, and should actually start opening up a bit more and providing some more updates on Starfield. So clearly this isn't a case of an entire fan base demanding some sort of unrealistic expectation from Bethesda and just being impatient and entitled. This is an actual critique on Bethesda's recent industry practices from somebody who basically does this for a living. There's a very good reason why pretty much the entire fan base feels this way, and to assume that the entire Bethesda fan base is entitled and impatient is a pretty huge reach and kind of disrespectful. So the apologists can drop the entitlement buzzcard, as it does not apply to the situation, and your catch-all terminology does not work. And in order to be a true fan anyway, you have to be able to recognize the flaws within the things that you love. There are plenty of times I have defended Bethesda Game Studios, probably a little too much in the past, but this particular situation calls for some very real criticism. And after all of this, I am still a huge fan of Bethesda, so none of this comes from a place of hate or malice whatsoever. And one other thing I've seen used to try to defend Starfield's lack of communication is comparing Bethesda Game Studios to that of CD Projekt Red or Rockstar Games. This is a total invalid comparison as well, as both CD Projekt Red and Rockstar Games have entire different community ecosystems than Bethesda Game Studios does right now. Those communities trust those companies for the most part, and for the longest time now, both CD Projekt Red and Rockstar Games have basically been making the same style of games they have always made and have followed the same exact routine that they've always followed, so the community already knows what to expect. Just because CD Projekt Red and Rockstar Games both don't talk about their games for a long time, and it takes both of them a while to make their games, and they remain silent to the last minute, doesn't mean that there is some kind of justification to invalidate all the criticism Bethesda has been getting involving Starfield lately. That is a huge oversight and is a clear indication that you're not looking at the entire big picture here. CD Projekt Red and Rockstar Games have been doing the same thing for so long now that the communities definitely know what to expect, but Bethesda Game Studios on the other hand are making a mysterious new game directly following their first online game literally ever, which was already a major shift in the company's usual routine following several big mistakes Bethesda has made. So clearly the Bethesda community climate is vastly different from that of CD Projekt Red and Rockstar Games, so that defense really doesn't hold any ground at all. It's really short-sighted, with all due respect to anyone that has tried to use that defense here recently. And I definitely want Starfield. I really do, and I'm totally looking forward to it for sure, and I'll still get the game probably no matter what, I guess. Don't get me wrong, but let's say Starfield didn't exist yet, or at least we didn't know about it and it wasn't going to come out for a few more games now, and instead the Elder Scrolls 6 was Bethesda's next game. Bethesda's current silence would be perfectly fine then, as we already know what to expect from an Elder Scrolls single-player RPG from Bethesda Game Studios. Starfield, we don't know what to expect at all. However, I guess even in that situation, even if the Elder Scrolls 6 did come out after Fallout 76, Fallout 76 would be enough of an anomaly to still shake up the expectations of the community and probably still lead to somewhat the same situation Bethesda is in right now, although it definitely wouldn't be as bad, I am sure. So with all of these variables combined, I hope I was able to make it very clear why, regardless of any potential excuse anyone could think of, Bethesda should not have remained so silent regarding Starfield. There is legit no reason for it, and I know this is something I touched on within the last couple of my videos, but I decided to end my discussion on this topic this week by trying to break down as much as possible why people are indeed upset about all this, and why this criticism is 100% justified. What Bethesda should have done, in my opinion, was continue to provide a short but sweet Starfield trailer each and every year, similar to the one we got way back at E3 2018. And on top of this, maybe drop a short behind-the-scenes footage situation similar to what we got for the Elder Scrolls 6 during the Elder Scrolls 25th anniversary video. Just doing these two small but substantial changes would have made things 100% different, and I firmly believe would have been enough to make a huge positive change in the current standing of the Bethesda community. And there is no excuse as to why Bethesda couldn't do this, seeing how the game has been in development for at least 5 years now, and was playable 2 years ago. I know I've showed these quotes over the last couple of days a lot, but these two things disprove a lot of theories involving Bethesda right now, and a lot of the defense for their silence. And by the way, I would totally understand if they didn't feel comfortable enough dropping a real 5-minute trailer, or a gameplay showcase, or doing interviews with substantial bits of information, but literally another 60-second teaser trailer each year, along with maybe some cryptic hints and teases over the last couple of years that channels like myself could have broken down and started to stir up the hype and speculation over, would have been so hype and is such a huge missed opportunity by Bethesda, in my opinion. Either way, Bethesda being silent does have a good side effect if it's the only one, and that is it shows, no matter all the stress and drama Bethesda goes to, that they are willing to stick to their guns and remain silent because they firmly believe in Starfield. They have that much faith for the game, they believe in it that much, and they know when we finally do get the game that we will be completely blown away. And that definitely gets me hyped. That's going to end today's video though. As always, what I want to know is, why do you think Bethesda has been so silent about Starfield? Let me know down in the comments below when you finally think we'll hear about Starfield again, and if your comment wins the internet, you may get featured in a future video. Be sure to like the video if you enjoy the content, and if you want to stay in the know when it comes to the latest gaming news, hit that subscribe button and turn notifications on so you don't miss the latest uploads. Follow me over on Twitter for other news that doesn't quite make it into my videos, as well as other channel updates, and check for links down in the description below for the official Skullzi merchandise site, the Skullzi Discord community chat server, and if you want to have your hand in providing future content, there are links on how to be an exclusive channel member here on YouTube, over on Patreon, or Coffee as well. And as always, thank you for watching. Be sure to tune in next time when Starfield.
just works.